When the earth was still flat, and clouds made of fire, and mountains stretched up to the sky, sometimes higher. Some of you are probably familiar with those words. Some of you have probably had them speak to you on a really deep level at your core like I did. Some of you have clicked on this video going, what the heck is a Hedwig and the Angry Inch? But wherever you fit on that spectrum, I do hope you'll enjoy this very introspective piece before I sort of go into a few weeks of talking about rock operas in general. Because that is something that I've loved for a long while. I grew up around musicals. My mother loves them probably still to this day. I haven't asked her, but I can believe it. But it's something that we grew up around, and the one thing that they always seemed to lack was touching on the deeper, darker parts of humanity. It was always very much like, all saccharine sweet and upbeat. If they had to talk about anything serious, it was all very glossed over. Got to keep it PG, as it would be now. But rock operas don't have that trapping. They're not bound. They can look at the dark parts of the human condition and lay it bare and make it fun to actually look at these dark parts of humanity. And this is why I've grown to love them. But the first one, the one that really spoke to me, was Hedwig and the Angry Inch. It's strange because my tale is nothing like this, in a lot of ways. I am not a young German boy snatched up by an army fella to go and live in the States with him, and therefore having a botched gender reassignment surgery. That's not happened to me, but I have struggled with who I am. And really that's what this film is at its core. It's a journey of identity. It taught me a lot about myself, the way I look at the world, and love. But not just outward love, whether platonic or romantic, but inward love. Through the story we see the wrong kind of love a lot. His mother just berates him for his love of American and American-inspired music. But that's what he loved. It filled him with a fire. There was a passion in his soul for this kind of thing. But his mother quashed it. Herself having very difficult relationships. So when this dashing army chap comes and sees him and, says, I can take you away from all this, he's jumping at that because he's grown up not knowing what actually being loved is. He's just happy for the attention. But part of that is that he has to have surgery and change who he is because they can't accept a homosexual relationship. So he's like, okay, I suppose I'll have to do it, but they weren't the most affluent, and this was, the Eastern Bloc Germany, so it didn't go well. So we've got this person left now in a weird middle ground, not fully man anymore, but not fully woman. She takes the name Hedwig, but he's left, of course, for a younger model down the line, and he's left in his trailer park to pick up the pieces of a life that really she would never have expected to have. But she finds solace in music. The thing that helped her growing up, when she was just a poor young boy, that thing spoke to her again and lifted her. And she could put her effort into that. Again, finding people who just were out for their own ends, weren't right for her. And, of course, one of the big relationship issues was that with Tommy. And how he kind of used her for his own gain. He got the recognition, the plaudits, the fame, whereas she did all the work. And it was this constant thing throughout her life of abuse. But she started to own who she was. She was taking control. Okay, by following Tommy around and playing at like tiny venues near the big stadiums that he was going to, but she was still trying to claim her life back. And through the course of the film, we see more of the true Hedwig, the Hansel inside still. This poor frightened young boy, really. We see more into that character as we slowly but surely over the course of the film get more of this story and more of an understanding. And the song that I quoted at the start was my first idea of what love could actually be. I love the fact that part of the lines are, there were 3 sexes then. There was like, and there were like 2 glued together. So it was like man and man, woman and woman, and woman and man. They were like bound together. But then we angered the gods and they split us in half. And what we consider love now is our way of trying to put ourselves back together. Whether it be man and man, woman and woman, man and woman. It accepts that this was part of the original idea. We were, these quadrupeds, I guess, who just spent all day together enjoying each other's company, feeling whole. I mean, that's one part that I think perhaps isn't right. I think it's something I've learned over years. You shouldn't be looking at someone else to make you whole. You should feel complete in yourself. But the idea that, there is that person for you who fits you best. And you just have to learn, you have to find out through your life which part it is that you need to bring back together. But the end of the film does give us that idea that it is in fact solace within yourself. Because we see the tattoo of the 2 halves of a face complete. Hedwig is complete in herself. Both sides of her personality have been reconciled. And this is what it teaches us about inward love. Throughout, it's been a case of, I must find the one that completes me. And like I say, I do like that idea that there is someone out there who will fit you best. But they won't complete you. That has to come from within. And right at the end, like I say, we have this message come through. That through all the adversity, through all the trials and tribulations, Hedwig is now complete and can stumble off into the night as a whole person, shaped by what's come before them, but not ruled by it, able to take charge of their life now. Whatever happens at the end of Hedwig is entirely open to Hedwig herself. She passes on the mantle. She's free from that now. And it's such a beautiful message. Like I say, it's informed a lot of how I see myself. Not that I've obviously been through that kind of exact circumstance, of course, like I say, but how one needs to learn internal contentment, internal love, before it can be expressed outwardly. My partner Amy, her mum actually said something similar recently, saying like, unless you have inner contentment, you can't show outward contentment or outward happiness. And that's what this film is. It's a lesson about getting that inner happiness. And that's a great message. Considering like a lot of people will be turned off because of the subject matter and what it actually tells the story of, I think they're doing themselves a disservice not to at least give it a try. So if you've clicked on it out of curiosity, go and watch it. If you already know it and love it, watch it again. I know I'm going to watch it again straight after this because I love it that much. But I do hope you join me next time, because another great in the rock opera genre will be coming your way. You'll find out what it is next time. But until then, as always, thanks for watching and take care.